Polaris and Arctic team clutch owners, if you don't know what this is, maybe you should. Stay tuned. What those washers are for is for this clutch right here. And in order to get the clutch off, we need to take the belt off, which I've done. And then I've loosened this bolt here. So to get the clutch off, this is the B.O.S. clutch, which comes apart in two pieces. So the bolt comes off, don't lose that. And then the top part of the clutch comes off, like that. So the first sheave, basically what I would be considered the immovable sheave of the secondary clutch, comes right off after you unbolt it. And then there's a couple washers right here. In my case, there's just one. Sometimes there's two. Make sure that if there is two, you don't lose them. You want to make sure you have both of those washers. Like I said, in my case, there's just one. All right, then this one right here slides right off. So all you have to do is, there's some splines here. You slide right over the top of that. And here's the secondary. All right, so here I am in the garage. And I've already got my clutch set up. This is a kind of a jig or a tool to hold the helix in because it's under spring tension. There's a whole bunch of different variations of tools like this, so don't take my example as what you should use. There's even people can make their own. So there's a lot of different ways that you can handle this, but what you want to do is have something that can keep this under pressure while you're loosening it up. I've already broken each one of these screws loose. So now I'm going to unscrew them. Let's get these screws out of here. Alright, so all the screws are out. I'm going to put some pressure on this and release the chain. Yep. So you can see why the threaded tools are better. All right. So here's the helix. This is the Speedworks helix. Strictly the top part here that moves. So this is what I'm talking about, where this is moving a little bit, and there could be some binding in here. Now, if I look at this, there's just a small amount of wear on the inside of this cup. So, I mean, it's obvious that it is moving there. All right, these don't come with any instructions, and the reason for that is because this is kind of a universal design. Depending on if you're using a team clutch on a Polaris, an Arctic, a snowmobile, an ATV, there can be different reasons to have more than one of these. On this clutch, I'm only using one. So the other two are just spares. All right, so what you're going to do here with the Delrin washer is you're going to put it in between the cup and the spring. So you take this cup off, put the Delrin washer in between, and then put the cup back. Now to put the helix back on, what you're going to do is there's a double cutout, and you want the rollers to go in the double cutout, just like that. And then you put it straight on. It just pushes it straight on. All right, I've got Loctite on all 4 screws now. Let's get this lined up. And put the screws back in. Delrin is a trade name, and it's basically a polymer washer. They are very low. They have a very low coefficient of friction, and have a a high resistance of compression. So they make a very good washer for things like this. You don't want to put too much pressure on one side. What you can do is end up cracking the helix. You don't need a lot of pressure on this. The torque spec on is 120 inch-pounds. So I'm going to tighten it down to 120 inch-pounds, and then the whole thing goes back. Well, you see how easy that was, right? It's a simple thing that you can add that may improve shifting performance. These are relatively inexpensive washers, and if it doesn't, you're not out that much. This works for team clutches. It's possible that some of the team clutches might already have these in them, and it's also possible that other style clutches, other brands, might work with Delrin washers. All right, here we are back at the snowmobile. As you can see, I've got the clutch put back together. Now I need just to put it on the snowmobile. So it just goes on like it came off. This goes on first, and there's a set of splines in here. You want to get that lined up. Then remember your washer. Then the other half of the clutch. And this does not have. See, there's indentations here, but there's nothing to tell you how this is supposed to get lined up. There really isn't. I don't think there's a wrong way to get this lined up. We'll put it kind of the way that the indentation match there. Now I have my bolt. I put that on. No Loctite needed on this. What you're going to do is tighten this down to 60 foot-pounds. 60 foot-pounds. What I usually do is set the brake, and then I tighten it down. I have my torque wrench set to 60. That was not the torque wrench. There you go. So there's 60, and now we're set. Now we put the belt back on, and we're good to go. Hey, thanks for sticking with me this long, and winter's coming. I hope I see you on the trail.